Imagine if you put your heart and soul, blood, sweat and tears, and over 8 months of training into achieving a lifelong goal, then bang, in a heartbeat, it was taken away from you. Well, that was me. I was training for my first marathon. I was so excited, about to realise a dream come true. And then I had a migraine 2 weeks out from the event, which lasted for 5 hours, left me completely numb down the right-hand side of my body. I was unable to feel my right foot, and I had hot and cold tingles across my back. I thought in that moment that my whole body was failing me. Was it a stroke? Will I be okay? And then this crazy voice in my head started singing the Monty Python song. Always look on the bright side of life. Because here's the thing, events will always happen in our lives, but it's the meaning that we put on them that will either make us or break us. A month later, a neurologist told me I had 8 lesions on my brain. And because of that, he diagnosed MS, Multiple Sclerosis. As this news sunk in and I started to cry, because in my mind, my limited knowledge of MS was that you were fit and well, then you receive a diagnosis, then you walk with a cane, then you're in a wheelchair, and then you're dead. That was not the life I had prepared for myself. The neurologist told me that there were certain drugs that I could take that might help the symptoms and might help prevent future attacks. But every cell in my body was screaming no, didn't make any sense, because he said it might work and it might not. And it felt like playing Russian roulette with my body. And that was before I looked at the whole list of side effects of those drugs. So I looked for a second opinion, and that opinion was Dr. Google. And in my research, I found that there was many other people who had spontaneous remissions from incurable diseases. And the number one thing that they all had in common was that they believed that they could get well. And I thought, well, if they can do it, so can I. One of my heroes was Roger Bannister, who had the belief and determination to be the first ever man to run a mile in under 4 minutes, when everyone around him told it was impossible. So I used that, and I decided to spring clean everything in my life. If it wasn't working, it was out. So I changed my diet, reduced stress, started meditating daily, and then I got really smart. I moved from Victoria up to the Sunshine Coast and followed the sun. My intention was set, and that was to be able to run again. Gradually, feeling came back in my foot, and I was able to run 1K, 5K, and then I was ready to tackle the fun runs again. Now trust me, fun runs do have a place when you're training for a race. However, if you're overtaken by a 6-foot banana sprinting uphill, it's no longer fun. My training progressed, and then I was at the starting line of the Gold Coast Marathon. And in that moment, I felt as if I had won. I'd overcome so much just to be in that moment. And I thought no matter what happened in the next 4 to 5 hours, I was just going to enjoy it. Now the crowds were amazing, with their various signs of support, like, keep going, there's a beer with your name on it at the finishing line. So I kept on going, and at the final corner, when I saw the finishing line, I started humming the tune of Gladiates of Fire, and then I crossed the finishing line with arms in the air, jubilant at what I'd achieved. A month later, I returned back to the neurologist, and he said, Sue, out of the 8 lesions that you had, on the right hand side, any minute now, I think it's starting. Okay, on the right hand side, the 8 lesions that you did have, most of them have completely disappeared, and the few that remained have significantly diminished. Now that was through no medical intervention whatsoever in a 9-month period. And I was so happy in this moment, because this exact scene was what I imagined in my meditations. So your mind doesn't know the difference between imagined and reality. To your mind, it's the same. So, and in the words of Eminem, if you had one shot, one opportunity to seize everything you've ever wanted in that one moment, would you capture it or let it slip? Ladies and gentlemen, what are your dreams? What do you believe in your heart to be true? Make your dreams a reality and make every second count. Thank you.